Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Friday, the 3rd of February. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, yesterday put in quite a bearish daily bar here. A bit of a shooting star going into the highs there. Sort of a divergence on the dailies, certainly a divergence occurring there to a degree on the 4 hourlies. And I do wonder here, is this the early weakening sign of perhaps a correction back to the monthly pivot? Looking just down a step here, and well, we have got the daily pivot above us, so would like to see that tapped out of the way first. However, there could be an opportunity for a longer term trade here, maybe. We're already pretty close to the daily S1, which would generally be a target from the pivot. So if it runs up to the pivot, maybe there's a short opportunity back south. To say it's an early looking trade for me like this. If it starts breaking through the pivot, the 34, etc. there, that's massive moving averages, 50, 21, all sitting around that area. If it manages to push through there, well, perhaps it's back on towards yesterday's highs. But at the moment, just looking at the shape of the things, the divergence on the bigger time frames, I'm thinking, well, perhaps we could see some further downside. And as I said, the monthly pivot's probably not too far adrift for a target either today or early next week. Okay, the pound, good old pound. Let's have a look. Okay, bearish engulfing on the dailies here. Again, is a very light looking at not what I would be trading off of in terms of divergence, but there's certainly a light divergence kicking across there on the RSI. Looking at the bars here on a bit of divergence there on the 4 hourlies yesterday into the highs when we rallied up in the morning there, and a strong sell-off here. Markets again looking weak now. Again, we could be pushing right the way back towards that monthly pivot at this rate. However, again, we've got the daily pivot up above us. It may give enough upside to give some profit. I'm looking really at maybe taking out if it breaks its 60-20s. It's quite a long way away from where we are sitting at the moment. It's a good target, of course, but it's nearly closing in on 60 pips away. Now, not all pivots are hit, and on that basis with 60 pips, I'd wait for the break of the 21s to be taken longs towards that. Otherwise, be looking on the bearish side. Then, of course, we could just draw a line across these lows here and short down towards the S1 and monthly pivot, which are yet to be touched. There's a possibility. See how it runs, but my preference would at least see it get back to those 60-21s. Look at what's happening then. If it starts failing, that may be a point of to the short side. At the moment, though, as I say, to me it looks weaker than anything else. Would only be looking at the longer side if we break those 60-21s. Dollar yen, some spiky action through the Asian session there. Some action through the Asian session, but again, marginal divergence, certainly a clearer divergence sitting there on the 4 hourly. So we're seeing this across the 3 of the pairs so far, similar picture, and you just wonder if we'll see a bit more correction with the dollar yen, maybe back to the 50 from where we're sitting. It's still got a monthly pivot to aim for up there as well if it's a bigger move. So if any of these I think the euro is the easiest one because it's only around about 80 to 100 pips, somewhere in that region. These others are a little bit wider, but certainly we could see the markets running back towards that at the moment. But if things change this morning on the dollar yen, well, I think I'd be late into the party a little bit because I'll be looking for a break of these sort of lows here, this sort of pivot point here. Pivot swing it put in there, which is bullish sort of movement. So I would wait for the break of that low there, and then head down, look for that break of that low, break of that trend line rather, 21s, get those out of the way, and then play back towards that S1 there. The bodies, I was looking, the support have come up in the bodies just before that, so the closed levels, but it may push on a little bit further. Okay, dollar yen, so Aussie dollar. Again, dollar strength coming through here. Let's just have a look at the bigger picture, and not really any divergence on the dailies. I can't put the same old picture on there, but it has run into its R3 on the 4 hours there. So I just need to change something on a different chart. Is it has run into its R3 there. Looking down, then, yep, it's. If it continues breaking through this and breaks the lows here, again, it could be erring on the bearish side. It's already caught its daily pivot. If you look at the way the 21s, the alley 21s are curling around a bit. Let's say erring towards the weaker side here. Maybe if it starts breaking the low of the pivot here, it could be on for the 50, maybe more. The monthly pivot is somewhere away on the Aussie if it was to start breaking down, but I don't see such a big correction on it at the moment, but things could change. Okay, Canadian dollar. The Aussie's been holding up more than the others. Canadian dollar never quite diverged yesterday, still erring down towards the lower side here. Maybe it's got some more in the tank to push on. The price of oil helped to just flick across and show it's been pushing back up. It's sitting there back up towards the $54 mark there. So that's certainly helped it, right? Okay, so that's helping the Canadian dollar a little bit more. Just looking through these time frames here, still, well, for me to be looking towards the short side, would prefer to see a break of the lows of the 20, well, below the pivot here, maybe, and then with a target of the S1. I don't think that's a great profit potential there, though. I may be wrong. Oh, it's about 29 pips, something in that region, if that was to occur. But at the moment, it's the way it's sitting. Maybe a break of the 50 to the upside may give a better, maybe an opportunity if we see the other currencies also moving weaker against the dollar. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. News-wise today, of course, we've got non-farm payrolls. He says, yep, we have. Just checking on the news. So I'm talking, yep, and 1:30 non-farm payrolls, and then ISM non-manufacturing later on. And of course, for the UK this morning, we've got services PMI, which is the most important of the PMI data for the pound. So we could get some volatility in the pound this morning. Certainly get volatility across the board at 1:30, I would imagine, with the non-farmed. And then finishing up at 3 with the ISM, so non-manufacturing or services, as we'd call it, PMI. That's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.